Welcome everybody to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latiners Network, where we review all the shows and movies that get released on streaming, and also at the end of the show, let you know what's coming out so you can create your very own watchlist. Trust me, it's a jam-packed week of releases coming up. Almost too many, if there's such a thing. So recommendations are ready to rock here. Of course, let me introduce our co-host, live from Houston, aka Chewy, aka Jaime. What's going on, brother? It's confused. Chewy, Jaime, whatever.
Hey, man, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I want to before we get started
Tomato,
here, I want to
tomato.
congratulate someone very special on their successful fantasy football league, becoming the champion. That's myself already, anointing myself champion. Congratulating myself in advance, because who are we kidding? That's just how it is. Bridesmaids, be damned. I am the bride this year. Uh,
You can have the preseason, you can have the draft championship, all you want.
and that's
The
why I'm
one that
already
counts
congratulating
is at the
myself, because
end.
we all know I see the future and just forecasting, predicting, if you will. But yeah.
Dalvin
I
Cook
started drafting his
breaks
Bengals.
ACL. Oh no!
So
I
got
understand.
drafts coming up. I still got two more drafts to go, so it's very exciting time. Football. Oh, there you go. Three
I
more to
got
go
three
for
more to
you.
go.
Football
So
right around the corner, literally right around the corner. Which, well, yeah, with the jam. This is a really jam packed.
a week from
It's
today. I
Thursday.
mean, technically the
Yeah,
Sunday, big Sunday is the week from today.
right
I
now.
mean, yeah, that's just one game, but the
Right, which
real
is a
the
bad
real
time because
weekend
there's so
starts.
much stuff coming out. So luckily, I have a potentially
Oh,
4 day weekend again
jeez.
next weekend. So that's gonna give me time to soak through all the goodness, so hopeful goodness that's going to be released. But let's talk about the week that was. Now, this show I'm going to bring up real quick. I forgot to talk about this show last week. Whoops.
Hmm.
Netflix, Mo. It's the name of the show. It's a 30-minute comedy starring Mo Amer, I believe is his name. I don't know. He's a comedian. He's got a special on Netflix, actually. And it's a show. He's Palestinian. His family came when he was very young. His father passed away. He has the burden of, he feels he needs to take care of his family, but since he doesn't have citizenship here and can't get it, he has to work these side jobs and hustle his way to, make ends meet. Situations come about and all that. So, Chewy, your thoughts on this one? Obviously, I assume you finished watching this, which was released last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, we forgot to talk about last week, but I did finish it earlier this week. You know, I really liked it, man. I was surprised. I didn't know what to expect. I saw a trailer. Obviously, it takes
Well,
place
that's true.
here in my
That's true.
current hometown, in the Houston area and surrounding communities. So it was good, man. It was different. Obviously, it's I think it's semi-autobiographical to a certain extent, on some of the events, and but it makes it funny. There's some serious discussions and matters taking place. Obviously, he has a brother who I think he's on a spectrum, if I'm not mistaken, a younger brother. Obviously, dealing with his mom, dealing with a mom who doesn't approve of his girlfriend, who happens to be Latina, and obviously we've supported
True.
all Latinas in the world.
Mo,
That's a
no, what's
good
up?
choice for him. Uh, but and I was obviously dealing with kind of being a man without a home, right? Where when he goes to like the farm and he thinks he's Mexican, he's not Palestinian, and he sees other Mexicans and they think he's just Nicaraguan or somewhere or something, right? They say, oh, he's from Iran or from Iraq. It's like, I'm from Palestine, man. So and then the guy goes Israel. So it's really it definitely has comedic moments and it's enjoyable. It's a good watch, short watch. Actually, 30-minute episodes.
Yeah,
I
first
think it's
season,
eight
eight
episodes
episodes.
this first season.
Yeah, it's
So
really good, man.
I
It's
say
a
definitely
good
watch.
comedy. It's just more comedy than dramedy, I think. And it's just to the
True,
level of something like
true.
Sex Education or Never Have I Ever. No, in terms of the comedy. But what this show does that those shows don't for me is the show feels real. Like these are real characters, not caricatures of people
Mhm.
we may have known in the past, right? It's a real feeling. There's a lot of cultural diversity issues it deals with in a good way. This doesn't beat it over the head with you with a bat. Ray Soto, very well done. I enjoyed it, man. It's funny, man. You know.
Well, that's funny. There's one scene where he's
Oh,
at the olive farmer, and he hooked him up to he was going to put like little trackers because his trees are being stolen. and the owner comes in and says, "Hey man, it looks like you're making bombs." Everybody's like, "Well, it's because
Yeah.
I look Middle Eastern."
He's like,
He's
wait,
like,
is one of the other Mexican people doing it? Yeah, would you ask them?
would you
And
ask
he's
him?"
like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
but yeah, but it's really good. The comedy is really well done. It's a good show, really good show. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's just definitely a good watch. And 30 minutes, it's a really good comedy. I hope it gets
Mhm,
greenlit for season two. I'm looking forward to that if that's the case. The new stuff. Let's get to the new stuff for this
mhm,
week, and we'll start off with on Hulu, FX Hulu or whatever. FX, I think it's FX Hulu. That's The Patient, dropping 2 episodes, and this is Steve Carell. We got oh, I forgot
mhm.
the other guy's name. Oh boy, yeah, Donald
Jack
Gleason or
Gleason.
Donald
Jack
Gleason,
is it?
whatever. Spin out Donald, whatever
Yeah,
it is. But
Donald
yeah,
Gleason.
he's in
Yes,
this as
yeah.
well. This Carell's a psychiatrist, and Gleason's I guess, a serial killer, unknown serial killer, and he's looking for
Mhm,
mental health recovery via Steve Carell's character. And he doesn't feel comfortable doing it, so he sequesters him, saying it nicely, chains him up to a bed in his house. He feels that's the most comfortable area, so he can open up to him, right, to get help. And it seems like he generally wants action to get help. This is not like Silence of the Lambs. You're gonna eat him up afterwards. He just really wants to sit down with this guy and have that one-on-one conversation, etc. This one I was like excited for. Actually, I was looking forward to this one a lot. I like Steve Carell, comedy or drama stuff, and this is really good, man. I was surprised how short it was. I popped in, I saw 21 minutes. I'm like, whoa, that's. I was thinking like an hour show or 45-minute show,
yeah,
whatever the commercials
these are
was.
really short episodes. Yeah.
It's like 21 minutes. Okay, that's really short, but it's really good. Gleason's great. Carell's really good. I like the dynamic what's going on here. Um, it's not like an exciting show per se, at least not yet anyway. But it's definitely compelling in terms of that relationship that they're building. Carell's trying to just figure out how the hell he can get out of this situation, and he's forced to agree to help him because what choice does he have? He doesn't help him. He's probably going to get whacked at that point.
Right. I
Right.
mean,
What's he going to do?
essentially, he's chained to a
Yeah, I mean,
bed.
he
I
can
mean,
say no,
he
but
can say
he
no, and
says
then
no.
what?
Even
Yeah.
Gleason's character, he can say no, but what do you think would happen? After that. So, he's kind of forced into it. So, fascinating show. I really like what it gets first episodes. I'm all in on this one. Joey.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
It's so short. I went ahead and watched the first 2 episodes back to back, and obviously it's kind of setting up the show and the dynamics between the various characters. But it was very interesting and easy watch. And I'm kind of obviously I'm not sure what to expect going forward with the rest of the season. Whether they get into a little bit more into the psychology of obviously of the Gleason character and what he's actually done. He's kind of talked about it,
Right.
but I haven't really shown much anything because it's been around the initial psychiatric sessions and obviously the kidnapping. And we kind of leave it with a little cliffhanger at the episode 2 where someone comes into the house when the serial killer leaves. And so we're
Yeah,
kind
who's
of
there?
waiting to see
What's going on?
what's
But yeah, so it's,
next.
it's interesting. Get into that. You're right. Get into the head of this guy and see what comes up. So cool show, very cool show. Like I said, it's short, 20 minutes on Tuesdays. Nothing else to watch on Tuesdays at this point. So definitely recommend it on our end. Um, we'll talk about this briefly. The Netflix series, Untold series on Netflix, which continues to drop on a weekly basis. We got one more coming up, I think. This one is the Operation Flagrant Foul. Of course, following the
Mm-hmm.
infamous referee scandal, the betting with happened back in the 90s, right? Tim Donaghy. 2000, I'm sorry,
No,
2000s.
I think it was
Yeah, he started
2000s.
in the 90s.
Yeah,
2000s,
yeah,
Tim Donaghy, and how he kind of
yeah.
got caught up in the whole, betting on the games he was refereeing, etc., getting inside tips, alleged point scandals or, whatever that never really was proven. He denies it. Okay. But yeah, so this one came out. Chu, what did you think about this one?
This one is
Just
just
about.
over an
Yeah.
hour. And I think it was just the right length. I mean, like I said, I mean, obviously from a sports perspective, I was interested because we were obviously around, 10 years ago, whenever it happened, and just to get a little bit more information on him and his motivations, but obviously the other
Yeah,
characters.
his partners or whatever,
And I think they
friends.
did. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, with one intermediary, and then obviously the one guy who, they tend they each
Which
give
is
a different
interesting.
account of events. Where one says he was unwilling, the other guy's
Yeah.
like, hell yes, he was willing. So it's very quiet. So you still don't know. Sorry, quiet. Thank you. Um, you still don't know what the truth is at the end of this. story. You got to pick a side and see who you want to believe, right? Because even when they end this documentary because there's still a whole question about the money he received and how much money he was involved. He successfully picked or provided picks 37 out of 10. So he was 37 and 10 as far as the money they put down, and supposedly he was only getting a couple grand per correct pick. So you can do the math. It's not really a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, especially when these guys were dealing
Right.
millions of dollars of money of winnings. And so the question is still out there as far as where happened to all the money. How much money did they actually get? Because he is not, he's pretty well off currently.
Of
And so he
course.
refuses to answer that question. So that kind of brings into, doubting his side of events of the story, right? And I think he still refuses to admit, even through the documentary, that he had an impact on the
Which is
games.
silly, but you're
And
an
if
idiot,
you
of course.
believe that,
Obviously,
you're
and
an
this
idiot.
only particularly in those times, it just lent credence to these conspiracy theorists about the NBA and rigging games and all. That's been going on for years. And when this story,
Yeah. And they provided some pretty good examples for a
sure,
compelling case, right? The infamous Game
yeah,
Six
yeah.
Lakers Kings playoff game, right? Um, and so you
Yeah,
look at
people
that and you're
always,
like,
even before that, people
huh.
talking about how, like,
And
NBA wants, yeah,
yeah,
but
oh
leading
no,
up
before
before
well,
that time, before that hit, everyone was always talking about, oh, they want the big, which makes sense. They want the big teams to go or extend these series to 7 games, make more money.
I mean,
Of
well, yeah,
course,
and people want to see stars. They
yeah,
want to see the marquee players
of
play. They don't want to
course,
see them on the
of
bench
course.
with foul trouble. Okay, but you start factoring all these things in, and you start questioning and wondering, right? I mean, because they even did a one example where I think that there was a time where they were calming, they emphasized the
Mm-hmm.
palming rule, right? And you see it all the time in the
Traveling,
NBA.
palming, it
I
happens
mean,
all the time.
you just do, man. There's
All the
no
time.
doubt about it. Yes, yes. And so there was one example we called it on Jordan, and the other referees pulled him aside and said, "Yeah,
Yeah,
you're supposed to call it, just not on him." Type of situation. You're
yeah.
like,
Well, and we touched on that is referees'
okay.
biases towards players and other coaches and the way they coach, how they're influenced.
Yeah, oh,
I mean, look, they're human. I
absolutely,
get it, but
absolutely.
it does give us, and again, it does lend credence to people who think it's rigged, and I get it, right? I mean, to a degree, it may be. How much it affects the outcome, you know.
I was more interested in like when they got into like they didn't really
Right,
investigate
of course,
anyone
yeah.
else beyond him, or what they did, but they they kind of really did, man. I mean, they kind of just pushed under the rug. Oh, it was just a rogue
Of
agent, one
course.
a lone soldier, type of
Hang
situation. No
them
one
out to
else was
dry, dude.
involved,
Hang them out
and
to dry.
nothing to
it's
see,
Yeah, and
nothing to
that's I mean,
see.
it's the
Move
NBA. I get it. It
along.
was in the best interest to do exactly that, right or wrong. I can't blame. I'd be doing the same thing. I don't know this guy, nothing to do with me. But it's a good series. It's a good series. All sports related topics. Some are I don't watch all of them because some don't interest me. But some do. But yeah, it's a cool series. You guys should check that out. Um, the big one of the week, since this one came out a day early, was earlier than anticipated from before, and that's Lord of the Rings. The Rings of Power, dropping 2 hour long episodes. This was highly anticipated by many folk, including myself. Which trailers are great. Chewy, your thoughts on the first two? Did it live up to the hype?
Well, I mean, from a
Oh,
visual standpoint,
absolutely.
yes. I mean, obviously, Amazon spent a quarter billion just to obtain the rights. I think they spent a quarter billion just producing this first season, and God
Of
knows how
course.
many millions in advertising and marketing, right? So this has been their flagship for since they acquired the JR token rights to these stories and to
Which
this
they
part of the
lost recently,
universe.
by the way. But go
Um, yeah. I still understand
yeah,
how the whole estate
it's
works and
odd.
who owns
It
what.
really is,
It's
but
still
I think some
confusing
companies
as
swooped
hell
in.
to
But
me.
that's neither here nor there. I'm sorry, you
It,
got a
it,
topic. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
whatever. Um, anyway, so it looked great. I mean, production value top notch. Um, I'm just, I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings super
Agreed.
fan,
The same way. Hmm.
and so I'm enjoying it. I'm watching it, uh, but it's. I don't know what to expect going forward. To be honest with you, I mean, I hope that I get more. it's been some interesting things, but it's just not, it's
No,
not the
no,
best thing
not at all.
since
Listen,
sliced bread.
it's good. The first episode is slow. It's a great intro. The first
Yes.
15 minutes is really cool. Um, Things slow to a crawl. I
Hmm.
know they got a lot of. It's a long table to set up here, and I understand that a lot of players need to be set up. This is a big scope in terms of story and characters and locations. Yeah,
Well, I mean, there's different areas, there's different things. Some of these characters you kind of know if you've ever seen any
true.
of the Lord of the Rings movies or read the books. You
Right.
know Elrond, you know Galadriel. Some of the other ones you kind of know just from hearing. They're descendants of the line of Durin, right? I remember that from the Hobbit movie. And Thorin Oakenshield, and he was the son of the line of Durin, and so now we get back to 1,000 years to who
Right.
this Durin character is, right? Um, and think that,
It's
like I
good.
said,
Listen,
I'm
it's good.
enjoying
It's
it. I
not great.
like it. But it's not.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
I don't
Right.
think it's great yet. Maybe it gets great as we build into more of of who the enemy is and kind of get into
Yeah, it's
that a little
definitely
bit
yeah. The second episode is
and
better than
what
the
all this
first.
is about.
So I think it's one which I think has a lot of
Yeah.
potential, right? But it's not like
Mhm.
it's an easy comparison to say Game of Thrones versus this, right? Because they're both kind of similar in genre, I guess. Whatever. Um, you can't compare,
You
but I
really
mean
can't
it's
compare the two because
it's a different. It's a
Game of Thrones
no
is
right.
is
It's a
is,
different
is
show, but
medieval fantasy political. It's more political
yeah,
thriller
but it doesn't.
than
Yeah, but talking
than
about just
than
the
what
two
what
these are
with.
the two big properties going head to head, so to speak, right? Um, right.
Well, yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, they're going
from a
mind,
quality standpoint, I
obviously.
think Game of Thrones has been better than this, by far. But it's still good. I'm
Mm-hmm.
enjoying it. I think this has potential to be really good. Now, I think once again, they're setting the table. There's a lot to set up. This is a big table, a lot of food coming to the on the table. So
And I like how they visually kind of help the layperson kind of make sense of
yeah,
where
yeah,
things pieces are, right?
with the
As
maps
they
and all that.
transition from the elves to the dwarves to the humans to the semi pre hobbits or whatever the Harfoots, whatever they're called. They you kind of, at least from a map
Mhm.
perspective, kind of like Game of Thrones, right? Where they give you a map
Right.
and you say, okay, here's King's Landing,
It
then
gives you
here's the wall,
perspective
here's
as
all
far
these
as
places,
where's everyone at.
and you can see spatially where things are, where how these characters interact. And this is kind of
Sure.
helping with that, showing the maps of where we're going from place to place. So at least at
No, no,
least you're
yeah,
not completely lost. Like, where the hell are they? Because obviously it's a very big, Middle Earth, is a big
right. Which is
universe. So
why
there's
I
a
think
lot of
yeah,
stuff
which it
going
takes
on,
longer to kind of set
and
up. And the movies were
especially.
kind of the same way. It took a while to get going, as far as I'm concerned. But it's
Mhm.
really good. Like as far as direct comparison, Wheel of Time, which is also on Amazon. This is far superior to Wheel of Time, and I like Wheel of
Yeah.
Time, but it's just way better than that, right? Even
Mhm.
as slow as it's been, it's building up. It's for sure. It's
Yes.
building up more. It's set up more than Wheel of Time ever did. But it's good. Good. Not great.
Mhm.
Not yet, anyway. It could be. But we'll circle back on this when it ends, when the season ends in a month or 2 months or whatever it ends. Um, Netflix, our favorites. The first one, Devil in Ohio, a new kind of thriller, suspense thriller, I
Mhm.
guess. We got I guess, limited series. I'm not sure it's a true story.
Limited
It was a
series.
book potentially based on a true story, whatever that's worth. And this is a
Mhm.
hospital psychiatrist who takes in a young girl who runs away from her home, and she's got like a big pentagram that was etched in her back by a knife. Yeah, yeah,
That's
pretty.
pretty
It's,
brutal.
it's in there,
That is pretty brutal.
and I guess she's part of this cult that she ran away from, and now she's taking care of her, and she's trying to figure out why
Mhm.
she left and who these people are, etc., etc. Chu, your thoughts on this one? I seen four, I think, on this one. Yeah, I think four.
Okay, I've seen two, and this is just okay for me. It's really, I'm having a hard time. You know, there's shows where I would have jumped off already, and so this is giving me enough to stay mildly interested and continue watching. But it's not compelling that I would say I'm going to recommend this as you got to go watch this. It's just okay, and but I've only seen two episodes. Maybe it
I,
gets better in the
I've
next
seen the
two.
four. I'm with you.
Um,
Um,
I,
and this is one of the shows
okay,
I
I'm
if
glad.
I
All
had
right, so I'm not crazy.
if this was this coming week with all these shows coming out, we'll get to in a sec. I probably would have skipped it
I
already,
would
right?
not.
I'm
I
on
would
it
have
now. Like
skipped
I
it.
got some
I
stuff I
would
gotta do
skip it.
for work
Yeah.
today, real quick. So I just kind of try to say, oh, I can put that in the background, do some work, and whatever. If I
Yes.
miss something, it doesn't matter, right? It's just it's not. It's the subject matter could have been interesting. It's just not done in an interesting way. It's very slow. It takes a while to get going, and
Hmm.
they could have had some really cool like dark elements to it, which they just kind of skim around. They don't really yeah, they don't really get to
A little bit,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
the minute they
The
do, it just they
bird,
go to something else, and
yeah, the
yeah, so it's kind of a
symbols,
letdown. It's
yeah,
fine. It's fine. It's just pure filler. You get nothing else to watch, so be it. This is not as
yes,
yeah. We've seen a hundred of these
one
on
hundred
Netflix. These kind
percent.
of thrillers, which are decent, right? Like Echoes was good, right? Decent show. Um, this was this, and they usually
Mm-hmm.
fall in that solid to mediocre. This is a little below mediocre. I think it's not up to snuff with the other thrillers we've seen from Netflix. It's fine. It's fine. I agree with you.
Correct.
I'm not recommending, to be honest. You got nothing else to watch, so be it. Or
Mm.
if you're familiar with the story, but yeah, there's too many
Sure,
things
but
going
aside
on. And
from
next
that,
week,
yeah.
believe me, there's a lot more choices coming up. To see if you don't get to this, you're not missing anything. Trust me. The last one, this one I had on an
Mm.
incredibly short leash. I had it on a boo bitch leash. That is Fakes, a new short 30-minute comedy on Netflix about these two girls who, end up going into making into the fake ID business, if you will. They're getting over their heads, shenanigans incur, etc., etc. I gotta say, I've seen 4 or 5 of these. These are short, and the fact I'm still with it
I've
kind
seen
of
two.
speaks to, not saying the show is great, but the short leash that I had, that I let go of the leash. Like, it's not a great show, but it is kind of funny. It's interesting because the characters that tell the story, right? And you've seen 2 episodes, right? So you know what I'm talking about here. The first episode is shown from one perspective, right?
It's from from the first person perspective, but
Run
they're
the fourth
breaking
wall, not a
each
fourth
one
wall, break,
breaking their
right?
own wall
Exactly. So
independently as
yes,
they
and
tell their
it's
story.
amazing how different
And
these stories end up being, and actually do it with another character later and do more of it later on. You know,
okay, well, it's not how they tell the story; it's actually how they portray the event. I'll give you one example. So in the first episode, where the Becca character, and Zoe, they're at the lockers, right? And the Zoe brings in, she's talking about the whole plan about secret IDs, but she's got a
oh, that's
birdhouse,
right.
right? It's real nice. It's like looks like a cathedral church, and it's all beautiful. And the next episode, obviously, we get the Becca perspective, and it's like little chintzy little birdhouse, really crappy and purple
And
and
how they
pink
and how and
colors.
how
I'm
they
like,
approach each other. Each says
I saw
things
that.
differently than the other person thought.
Yes,
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
I like the presentation. Right.
That's
It,
what
it
makes
does,
it
and that
interesting
works,
and
right? It's not
funny,
as
right?
YA
You
as I imagined it was going to be, right? It's not,
No, it's not because it's
right?
actually based on true event on a
It's
true
exactly
event. It's
so.
based on a true story. So that's why when I saw that, I was like, okay, well now I'm even more interested. Not just a make believe, two girls get into a fake ID business. It's something that's based on some factual history. All right, and so I was like, okay, well I'm gonna watch this, and if I get a good laugh at it,
No,
great.
it's
And
it's
I've been
it's
laughing.
surprisingly it's
It's
surprisingly
got funny
entertaining,
moments.
more than I ever thought it was going to be. And even there's a character, Chewie, the guy with who was at the department store,
The guy who set up the deal.
who yeah, who helps
Yeah,
them,
yeah, the
with their
guy who set
business,
up
so to
the yeah,
speak.
did
It's
it
an
show, yeah,
episode
him.
about
Okay,
him, so it's interesting. So, yeah, it's really good.
okay, good.
Surprisingly hip. Without not leaning on the YA aspect, which I liked it at all. They're
I
not. That's what
don't
I'm saying.
think
They're
it leans
not.
on the white actor. I think
Yeah,
it
yeah.
leans on their idea of how they arrived at that deal.
Well,
Whoever
they each
idea
different
it was,
opinion
obviously they worked on it
who
together.
his idea was.
But yeah, well, actually, and the description of how easy it was initially, right, with a simple
Mhm.
laser printer, some cards, some old outdated Photoshop software,
Yeah,
and that was
yeah. I don't know
it.
about all that.
I was like, really?
But again, they do continue that the
Yeah, I know.
switching perspectives back and forth in the next couple episodes. It's good. It's a funny show. I'm actually recommending it. It's an easy watch, 30 minutes in an hour. You can watch a couple, right? So you can 2 or 3 hours. You can finish the whole thing probably. But yeah, I'm like halfway through. I'm enjoying it. Surprisingly, I'm enjoying it. So it's a recommend for me. Again, it's not up there with some of the ones we liked. I don't think it's even as good as Mo. If I the other two, I would recommend go watch Mo first if you don't watch one of them. It's a different
Oh
kind of show,
no,
but it's a
well,
better show. It's
it's a
got more
different
offer
kind of
than
show.
Netflix. But Fakes
Obviously,
is entertaining.
Mo,
It's fun.
yeah,
It's entertaining. It really is. That's all you can ask for. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm definitely with it. So there you go. You got a couple of days to watch some of these because shit. Next week is ridiculous. It feel like an NFL. Like I'm running an NFL team here where I have to. I think we lost Trey for a second. We're gonna have to make some cuts to make the roster and all that. So tonight actually is Rick and Morty, season 6. See if Chewie gets back in, but season 6 begins tonight. Love the show. Big fans of the show. If you guys haven't seen it, if you didn't know it's coming out, you are aware of the show. It's coming out today. If you haven't seen it, this is one I highly recommend to go back and watch the prior seasons. You can catch, I think HBO Max has them. If you guys have HBO. On the 6th, we have the Untold, another, I think the last of the Untold series for this season for Netflix. We just talked about the Tim Donaghy one. This is called The Race of the Century. Not one I'm probably going to watch. It's not one that really catches my attention, but it's a good series. At a time I might watch it, but I'm not sure on that one. And then, oops, I'm trying to get Chewy back here. Is Chewy
Sorry
here?
about that.
Oh, there you
I
are.
don't know what
There
happened.
you are.
Yeah, I'm
Chewy's
here.
back. Okay, there we go. So
Something happened.
I was going over next week. I talked about Rick and Morty, Untold coming out as well. Then I think the last for this season.
Yeah, I think that was on the cup, the America's Cup from the '80s,
The America's Cup.
Race of
Yeah,
the
I
Century.
was saying
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is one I'm going to catch. This one's one of those like it doesn't interest me in terms of the subject, so I'm not if I'm watching that.
Well, sailing,
Yeah,
whatever.
I was saying that this is like a 53-man roster. I'm cutting down to 53-man roster in football. I'm making some cuts. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get to watch all. And I got like a 3 to 4 day weekend coming up, and I'm still not. I'm gonna be pick and choosy with some of this stuff. I'll do the best I
Right.
can to watch as I can. I think between me and Chewy, you probably watch most of these shows. But
Probably.
we got Last Light on Peacock, and this on the 8th. The 8th is like a monster week on Thursday. I don't know why they didn't do it this weekend on a 3-day weekend for everybody. Whatever. So Peacock, I think the first of 5 shows coming out, movies on this date. Last Night Peacock, this is a British thriller drama, I think.
Yeah. Correct. Yep.
I guess the world, something's going on. They lose power everywhere or something like that, and then we got this guy who's got a family. He's an ex-agent or something, trying to figure out what's going on.
Hmm.
So I'm getting some weird sound too. I'm not sure if that's you and me. But yeah, so that's coming out on the 8th. Also on the 8th, Disney Plus, Pinocchio. This is one
Live action.
live action Pinocchio starring the legendary Tom Hanks. What's his name? Geppetto, right? If I remember myself.
Yeah, Japan.
Geppetto,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
This looks
that's
super
right.
cute. I know Chewy, you watching this, and so am I. I
Yeah.
ain't gonna lie. Definitely gonna watch it. It looks really good. It's Disney Plus. It's surprising to see in theaters. I'm kind of curious about that.
Mhm.
That does concern me. We've seen these big movies released straight to
Well,
streaming.
I'm not so. Guillermo del Toro has a Pinocchio version movie coming out
Right.
later this year
Yeah.
as well.
And that one
So
looks more interesting to me. This is
yeah,
more like just
a
a
rehash
rehash
of the same
version of
story.
what
Yeah,
we've seen before,
just
right?
just
Yeah,
just live action of the animal movie.
right.
That's all
Lion
it is.
King, Beauty and the Beast, whatever, Aladdin, all mean kind of the same. This one's
Yeah.
kind of that's looking like the Toro one looks like there's something different with the material. But it
Mhm.
looks cute. I ain't gonna lie, it looks cute. Looks adorbs, as the kids would say. So I'm definitely gonna check that one out. Netflix is another doc film, right? The Anthrax attacks in the shadows
Yes,
of
this is
9/11.
based on the. I remember, I think early 2000s with the Anthrax letter that went around to CNN, to government officials, and so it's obviously a dramatized movie about those events.
Yeah, so this is one that may not make the cut. To be honest with you, I gotta see.
Mhm.
It's just too much because there's still 2 more shows on Thursday. For Christ's sake, this one not making the cut. Me say it right now. I think Chewy's gonna watch it though.
Boobage?
No, Bubich. Tierra Incognita. I know it's a Spanish show and I should be watching it, but it's on Disney Plus, which is why I'm not watching it.
I am not sure what this is a YA family of this. I'm trying to see. I watch one episode and then make the
Yeah, it's
case.
Disney Plus. I assume it's some kind of family mystery kind of show. I didn't get a chance to really look at the trailer much, but I know Disney Plus. I mean, they don't do the shows aside from Marvel and Star Wars, which aren't great to begin with. Let's just be clear. They're watchable, entertaining. But besides that, they haven't given me anything that I really liked. And with again, nothing else is coming out. I probably invest some time in it, but it's just too many shows. 5 shows on Thursday, a couple
Mm.
on Friday. It ain't happening. This is one that's definitely not gonna make the cut. I think Chewy catch one and let me know how it is, if it's worth
I'll
it,
watch.
and
Yeah.
all that. The next one, same day again. Hulu, the wedding season. Wedding season. This one looks actually interesting. Kind of
This is
yeah,
a British
yeah,
dark
yeah,
comedy.
like a murder
Um,
mystery, some of that.
yes, correct. Yeah, so it has nothing to do with weddings, at least
No, 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 don't.
not in
Yeah,
that
yeah, don't.
sense.
Yeah, that's not what you think it is. I guess that a bunch of people in a wedding party died or something like that.
That is
Yeah,
correct.
so
Yes.
this looks actually kind of very dark comedy. I've actually I've read some really good things about it on this
Mm.
one, so I'm kind of excited to see this. I think Rosa Salazar, Latina, plays the bride in this one. Looking forward to it. This looks good. This looks really good. So that one's already made the cut. Um, Same day, again on Netflix, we got this
Rocky.
new fantasy show called The Imperfects, which I saw the trailer and I have no fucking clue what to make out of this show. So it seems like it's this scientist experimenting on the, I guess, three kids in particular. I guess
And they created
gene therapy or whatever he's doing. Yeah, and he
yeah.
created these monsters. One can become a chupacabra. One is like a vampire or something like that, and the other one's like a banshee, right? Or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to, they're trying to figure out what happened and trying to go after the scientists who did this and see if they can bring them back to normal. This looks weird. I don't know what to make of this, man. I really don't. Like, the premise is cool on paper, I guess. I gotta think this is gonna be terrible, but I'm gonna watch it. This is making the cut because I gotta see.
This could be Resident Evil.
It really can,
level.
Yeah.
And so let's see.
But it has a chance to be surprisingly interesting. But this one I'm definitely gonna watch. It's interesting.
Is this a Spanish show?
No.
Is this an
It's
English show?
It's English.
Okay.
Yeah, when I saw the trailer, I
sure.
didn't see any subtitles at all on the talking English show. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's an American show or whatever. Show, English show. Whatever. I'm so curious about this. Just be really, really bad. Shortly, this is boo bitch kind of leash I'm gonna have in this show. Really am, because this is too much to watch, to be honest with you. And then the ninth, finally, only 2 shows in the ninth because there's 8,000 shows in the fucking eighth, and that is first one, Cobra Kai. Hello,
Season 4.
Season 4, Season 5. That was Season 5.
Is it season 5?
Season 5. Yeah, looking at the poster.
Oh.
Season 5.
Whatever. Okay, fine. Sorry. Yeah.
Big fans of the show. I mean, I love this show. So it's just delightfully cheesy. It really is. If you don't like it, I get it. I really do. But yeah, if you guys want to wear, if you guys are fans of the show, it's coming out this Friday. This is a show that should have been released this weekend, personally.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it waited till next weekend. But that being said, this is going to get watched. I'm not sure how many. I'm going to watch as many episodes to watch the other ones because this is one I'll probably watch in slow turn, in slow burn. You guys know it's season 5 already. If you guys are with the show now, you ain't going to be with the show at all. The next one, last one. It wasn't enough. Narco Saints on Netflix.
This one looks interesting.
It does. It's kind of a South Korean version of what we've seen with Narcos Mexico, Narcos, original Narcos. Of course, big fans of those shows. Yeah, this one I guess based on true events too. And
correct.
This is a businessman who makes it that I guess the government uses him to infiltrate this cartel. South Korean cartel, which they are based in South America, a drug cartel.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then obviously he's got to figure out maneuver his way through the organization and
it would be interesting if they like what they did with the Narcos Mexico. Would we see a little Pablo Escobar cameo?
It'd be interesting if they do mix it because I mean I guess from when I read the synopsis, I saw a trailer and I thought it took place in South Korea and all that, but it doesn't. It says South America. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's part of I'm not sure what timeline this is, but it looks good. I mean,
yeah. I'm not sure.
This could be really good. Like I don't a lot of South Korean shows that give us really good stuff. Sometimes it's boo bitch, sometimes it's not. But sometimes when they hit. And this is not like a fantasy show, right? We usually focus more on the fantasy stuff. This is a more straightforward thriller, drama kind of thing, a la Narcos should be. Looking forward to this, man. This was good. This is gonna make the cut for sure. No doubt about it.
We hope so.
Yeah, hopefully The Perfect sucks, and I'll watch more of it. If Imperfect is good, I'll watch less of it. Whatever. I'll have a little time this week, so to play around with, thank God. So yeah, so a lot of stuff, Chewy. So that's
and not to mention that also Love and Thunder comes out this week on Disney Plus as well. So
I've already seen it.
I liked it.
I enjoyed it.
But I want to see it again. I like seeing it again and again.
Not over the. I mean, something's got to give here. Too many shows. You can.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying it's also dropping.
But I get it. I'm just joking.
Fit that in there.
And we got shows to talk about now. The 5 days of Memorial ending this week, if I'm not mistaken. Bad Sisters still going on, which I'm really enjoying on Apple Plus. And Mike, I haven't seen this week's Mike. This Sunday's my catch up on my shows day.
They're dropping 2 episodes on Thursday, so this one had the Robin Givens episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're dropping 2 episodes a week.
Oh, but yeah, it's only 30 minutes longer, 20 some minutes. So yeah. So
this one was the Robin Givens part of his life, and then obviously then the Don King part as well, the influence of Don King, and it takes up past right up to the losing the Buster Douglas, so you kind of see where we are after 4 episodes.
Gotcha. Yes, I'll be watching those this afternoon. So yeah, so there it is. Big week next week, guys. Prepare yourselves. Get some good shows this week as well. As always, we appreciate it. Subscribe, etc. Chewy, always a pleasure. Have a great Labor Day. The remainder of Labor Day, have a good day off. Go to the beach, barbecue, blah blah blah, etc. catch up on your shows. Do GOT tonight. Little Rick and Morty.
Hell yeah. Our little Rick and
We
Morty.
all win. This is an all win weekend for everybody. So and there's no boo bitch, so even more win. With that being said, we'll see you guys next week.